Hi, Chuck Vosberg here, and in this lesson we're going to learn all about the clone stamp tool. It's one of my favorite tools for retouching, and in the toolbox the clone stamp tool is the one that looks like a rubber stamp. It's almost halfway down the toolbox right here, and once you select the clone stamp tool, I'd like to direct your attention up here to the options bar, and first of all we'll change the brush to make sure that we have a round, soft-edged brush. Now, which one of these you choose, as far as the size, does not matter. I'll show you why in a minute. So I'm just going to double-click on a soft, round brush. Also, while we're up here, let's make sure the mode is set to normal and the opacity and flow are both set to 100%. We want this to completely cover up any bad spots. Now, as far as changing the brush size, you can use the bracket buttons on the keyboard to do this. And the bracket buttons are the ones next to the letter P on your keyboard. So the right bracket makes your brush larger and the left one makes it smaller. Now when you're using the clone stamp tool, it's a two-step process. The first step is to sample. So we're going to pick up some water from over here and then use it to cover up the part that's missing over here. So picking this up over here, that's called sampling, and the way you do it is you hold down the Alt button on your keyboard and then click the mouse. Then you can release the Alt button. Now without pressing any buttons, move the mouse over on top of the area that you want to retouch, click and hold down, and then you can start painting. Now I want you to notice over towards the right there's a little tiny plus sign that shows where it's picking up from, and you might notice that it moves in tandem with the brush. Now let me show you some things that can go wrong here. One thing that frequently goes wrong is if you alt click to sample too close to the damaged area and you begin retouching, you'll see it starts repeating the problem. Right there you can see the little plus signs going across into the problem area. So make sure you give yourself enough room. And one other problem that frequently happens is by sampling, by alt-clicking, a little too close to something that you don't want to repeat. So for example, watch that plus sign. It's starting to get into that boat, and you can see that the paintbrush is repeating whatever that plus sign's going over. So that's not desirable either. So in this case, I'm going to alt-click over here, then click and hold down, and paint out this section that needs to be retouched. The next thing we're going to do on this is up here in the top, we're going to remove this wake and the back of this powerboat. So for that, I'm going to make the brush a little bit smaller using the bracket buttons on the keyboard. And there's not much room up here to work without starting to repeat the heads of these people. So I'm going to sample down here because this water here is about the same texture as the water up here. So I'll alt-click to sample, and then without moving any, or without pressing any buttons rather, I'll go up here, click and hold down, and retouch this wake out. Now I want you to watch the plus sign down below. It's going to run off the edge of the picture, so that's as far as it can retouch. But that's not a problem because we can simply go down here, resample, and then continue on with our retouching. So clone stamp tool, very simple to use. Just make sure you use alt-click to sample, move your mouse onto the bad area without pressing any buttons, then click and hold down on your mouse and begin your retouching. So clone stamp tool is just that easy. This is Chuck Vosberg. Subscribe to my channel and good luck.